On August 6, 2019, Austin Puff Fox main Palpa and Dallas Puff main SDJ would play in losers quarters of the 242nd edition of Monday Night Melee, a Texas local out of Plano. The more established SDJ would win 2-0, but both games were doable. This set is notable because it would be the last one between the two where Palpa would choose Jigglypuff. For the next 10 sets, the Austinite would bring out the Fox.
Well, my name is Preston Smith. I'm from Texas. My tag is Tuesday. I've been in the Melee scene for a long time. Let's see, my first tournament here in Texas was in 2006. Started running tournaments in 2009. Yeah, I think that's all there is to me. I've just never quit. Yeah, so SDJ, I remember when he was first starting, I would describe it as exponential. I know it's very dumb to call things exponential, but that's what I think of because it was a slow start, but then once you started seeing improvement, he got really good really quickly. I remember the first time I played him, I won, and it wasn't even particularly close. And then the next time we played, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to beat this guy again. Palpa kind of came out of nowhere good. The first time I ever saw Palpa enter a tournament, he was doing pretty well. They stylistically are very different, the way they play. The way Palpa plays, I would call it correct. It is a high skill player. He practices difficult tech and difficult execution. When it's time to perform, he executes very cleanly. Everything that Palpa does makes sense to me. SDJ, more than any Puff player, almost more than most players I've ever played, plays versus a person. He very is clearly paying attention to what you're doing. He's watching you. He's watching everything you do, and he is playing in response to that. What SDJ does that tilts a lot of top players is he just changes what he's doing immediately, full stop. You'll finally get a sense of what he's going for, and then he doesn't do it anymore. He does something else, and it's like playing a different person. He doesn't even have to play Puff. He can play whoever, and it would just work just as well. I think Puff is just fits his style the best. When SDJ has a feel for what you're gonna do, it almost feels like he's just in your head.
Between that Puff Ditto mentioned earlier and when the two would play at Low Tide City 2022, SDJ and Palpa would play 7 sets. Of those sets that were best of 5, 4 of them would go Game 5, with SDJ winning 3 of them. He'd just edge out the total head-to-head as well during this time, being up 4-3 since the Puff Ditto, and 6-3 lifetime. At Low Tide City 2022 in Round Rock, Texas, Palpa and SDJ would play in loser side top 8, with both making upsets to get here. With the possibility of being the highest placing Texas native, title as the best Puff in the region, and with their entire scene watching on the biggest stage, there's no confusing the reality that this is their most important matchup. Palpa maintains a 1-stock lead through most of Game 1 and gets rest off the table with some extra damage, but it doesn't matter as SDJ finds the kill. Last stock arrives, and with it comes 4 whiffed grabs from SDJ, with the last one being punished to end the game. Game 2 is super convincing for Palpa, who holds a 1-stock lead throughout the entire game. Then, instead of running it back to Dreamland, SDJ decides to go Yoshi's. Palpa again has a 1-stock lead, but gets up to arrested twice to bring it to a true last stock. But SDJ closes out Game 3 with a couple bears. Game 4 could have been close, but SDJ lands a clutch rest. Game 5 starts and is completely back and forth. After finally approaching on the fire transformation, SDJ finds another up throw rest, but not the game. The tree saves Palpa, and then lets him rack on some extra damage. Then...
The trails! He's in the wall! This is such huge percent! Oh my god! Smash!
Palpa in the corner here, back to normal stage. But the back air setting him off stage. Can SDJ close this out?
Holy crap!
Palpa rolls in.
Oh, there
is the other SDJ done! Palpa clutches Game 5, last stock, last hit. He's moving on in top 8, and SDJ out of 7.